All right, we'll begin here. We're going to continue with the exercises of Unit 7, finish up what we left off last time. Let us do our opening prayer. Let me mute everybody. And let us begin. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena. Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Gloria Patri, et Filio, et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio, et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Okay, so, before we get into the exercises, are there any questions on the basic forms? We kind of did these last week, and I just assumed, and the week before, so I just soon skip those. But if you have any questions, ask them now. Otherwise, we'll start in on the translations. Okay, let's start the translations. Easy one. Pleni sunt caeli et terra gloria tua. And feel free to unmute your microphone if you so desire. That's straight out of the Gloria, by the way.
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
Any takers?
Heaven and earth are full of your glory.
Yep. Heaven and earth are full of your glory. Let me see. Let me scooch this up a little. I'm going to rearrange my windows. Give me just a minute. Text is now that. Yes. And you can say this. I know the book likes to use the ablative with pleni, but you can say it either way. The heaven and earth are full of thy glory or filled with thy glory. There's not a lot of difference there.
That was a question I was going to have, so I'm glad you answered it.
Well, you know, which is better? Full of thy glory is better. But when you see there's, well, sometimes it's easier to think of that instead of a full of as a filled with. So when you're reading it or listening to it, at least what I tend to do is make plenus filled, because it is a past participle. And it just makes it easier. It flows better in my mind. But if I'm going to sit down and actually translate it really, really well, then grammatically it's really full of. Okay, and the reason we know this is there are ancient Latin grammars that were written early on, and part of that we know is, and some of them were Latin and Greek, is you know, the ancient authors did Latin and Greek and explained what that meant, and so it is a full of, but filled with, I maintain, is not really that much different conceptually. So if you want to use that to think of that to help you, go right ahead.
Michael?
Yeah.
A quick question. That's pretty straightforward, I think. But what's a little bit more curious to me is the book says that occasionally you can use the genitive, and they use the example of plena es gratiae. And I wondered how often, obviously you wouldn't ever do that when you're talking about the Gloria, but I wondered if you see that very often where plena is used and then it is followed with the genitive rather than the ablative. Do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
asking?
yeah. Well, what form is pleni here? Oh, I
Well,
guess it's plural.
yeah,
The
it's
heavens and
plural.
the earth. Oh, it's Gloria here, isn't it? Yeah. Um,
And
wow.
that plena est gratia, she is full of grace, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and so the question is,
I've seen it both ways.
well, they're saying you can say plena est gratia, which
Yeah,
is the ablative, but they also say that you could say gratiae. And I just was curious
yeah.
where, if there was any particular place where
I
you
have
saw-
seen it in the I have seen it in the Vulgate. I have seen the use of the genitive in the Vulgate. Um, if you send
clearly all the
email,
exercises in here are going to
pardon?
be, all the exercises that we're doing are going to be in the ablative.
Yeah, yeah. And that is certainly the most common, but I have seen the genitive in the Vulgate in a number of places.
Okay.
And I'd have to look them up where they are. You know, I remember thinking, oh, I should search for that, see how often. Oh, yeah, it does. And that satisfied my curiosity, but I didn't go off and make note of that. All right. Anyway, Jesus Nazarenus dicitur Christus. Jesus of Nazareth is called the Christ. That'll work. Or you can say Jesus the Nazarene, either one. And I believe he uses Nazarene here. There we go. Either one works. This one is a little more, or the Nazarene is a little more literal, because this is not, it is not Nazarene, Jesus of Nazareth. It's just the nominative form. And so Jesus the Nazarene, but yeah, we say it both ways. Puero premium a magistro datur. Yes.
A reward from the teacher is being given to the boy.
Okay. I kind of like Adam's a little better. A reward is given to the teacher, or given by the teacher to the boy, but yeah, either one.
Michael, is this the ablative of personal agency?
Yes, it is.
'Cause
Magistro.
I think most of the ablatives that we're going to see are going to be a personal agency in these exercises.
Oh,
There occasionally there'll be others, but I'll bet if you did a bet and you wanted to check all of them, I'll bet you'll see more personal agency than you will the others.
Certainly, if there is a person in there, you're quite right. And come to think of it, yeah, actually, the personal agency is, I think that's actually in this unit, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, then yeah, you'll see most of them. Here, let me expand this out slightly. There we go. And there we go. Fit that. There we go. Jesus turbam sanat. Multi, and here's your enim. Multi enim male habent. Right. Jesus heals the sanat, heals the crowd, for many are sick. Yeah, and habeo male, I am sick. Habes male, you are sick. It's an idiom. Literally, I have badness, or I have, I guess, sickness. You could maybe well, sickness is usually is not usually male, but no, it's not multitudes. Oh, multi, yes, multi is multitudes.
No. I'm saying that for instead of turbam, instead of saying crowd, you could say multitude.
Oh, multitude, yeah, big crowd. Either one, true. And actually, I think that's
they use that. They tend to use that translation more.
Yeah. Yep, they do. Generally, crowd is kind of an both multitudes and crowd are an indefinite number, but crowd usually is, are 10 people in a crowd, I guess. Are 10 people in a multitude? No. So what they want to emphasize, and Turba generally means a very large collection. So they generally, you're right, they generally use multitudes in there, or at least in this chapter, in this book. And that makes sense.
Well, in the Bible.
In the Bible, they will use multitudes very often, yes. Hodie, missa, a caro episcopo celebratur. Today, Mass is being celebrated by the beloved bishop, yes, or dear as in dear as in beloved, although beloved is a little clearer use here. Digni sumus misericordia Dei. Yes. Are we worthy of the mercy of God? Okay. Or more appropriate, God's mercy. Or well, either one. Puer infirmus votus Petri sanatur. Right. Puer infirmus, the sick boy. Votus can mean, sometimes with prayers, you'll hear the word, well, there's 3 words for prayers. There's oratio, from which we get the word oration. There's prex or preces, that's also prayers. But vota, votus are for which we get votive offerings. A votive offering is one that's given in supplication. So you could even stick the word supplication in there if you wanted to, which is a bit long and wordy, but same idea. Universa Judea. I always want to split that syllable the wrong way. Universa Judea ad domum advenit, et a Jesu peccata donatur. Let's see here. Yep. All right. Text, minister bene orat.
So just a quick question. So this is one of those cases where donatur is not granted, but is forgiven. It's just because we tend to think of, donare as
I kind of like
associated with gifts, but in this particular case, you're not going to say sins are granted. So it's a contextual thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, literally, you're right. For some reason or other, that went straight by me until you pointed it out. Yes, yeah. The sins are donated
right
by Jesus, and you kind of go, what?
That doesn't sound too good that way.
Yeah, you kind of go, what? This is where you get your dictionary out. You look up donare, and you feel, okay, it's again an idiomatic expression here, or alternative meaning of the word. Let's see. Minister bene orat, et primum responsum a popolo dicitur. Yeah, this is kind of a strange sentence, but I guess he's just trying to get us, to use some of these. The minister prays well, and the first response is being said by the people. Anyway.
And hearkening back to a previous discussion on the word until, does that mean that people do not do the second responses?
I guess. I don't know.
It does not say.
It does not say. Yeah. In primis infirmos ad mestos sanat Jesus. Yes, at first, or in the beginning, meaning at that time, at the start. So at first is the best way to do that in English. At first, Jesus heals the sick, infirmos at mestos, and the sad. Don't confuse that with like maestro. They kind of look like the same word. Liturgia Deus a populo laudatur. Yes, in the liturgy. Yes, there's a little, and that's something you would have to pay attention to because the A is not normally there. And you could say God is praised by the people in the liturgy. But that's a little, you can play with the word order a bit always. Or by means of the liturgy, move it into the front, either one. Oh, this is a long one. Propter Christi victoriam apostoli erant pleni laetitia, et ad hoc cum gaudio populus Domino semper benedicit.
Michael, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, and the question goes to this one and to the next one. And that is, when you say benedicimus, or in this case, you say benedicit,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, when you say benedicit, it's domino, it's not dominum. And then likewise, when you say benedicimus, in the next one, it's not benedicimus, it's benedicimus animabus. So the question is benedicere, does that take the dative? Are you saying bless too? Because it would seem like you would use the accusative if you're using the word the way we use the word, but apparently it's not. It must be, because we know that animabus is either ablative or dative,
Right.
And it doesn't seem like it would be ablative here, so it must be dative.
Right.
And the same thing with domino. It must be that domino has to be ablative or dative, but it doesn't make sense for it to be ablative, so it must be dative.
Yep. Well, okay. The
benedicit, blessed to, when you're saying literally you're blessed to the Lord, blessed to.
Well, a better way of saying, or maybe a better way of thinking about it is benedico. Literally is saying dico, to speak. Bene, we haven't had the adverb. No, we had bene. Sorry, we had bene.
Well, to the Lord.
Yeah, we are literally speaking good things to the Lord. Okay. So benedicit, benedicere generally takes the dative.
It's just when you use that word bless, then it makes it a little more confusing.
Yeah. If you say the blessing, benedicat omnipotens Deus, may Almighty God, let's see, benedicat omnipotens Deus. Actually, they, let's see, are they using vos, benedicat vos? Yeah, benedicat vos there. Benedicat vos is actually where they're using the accusative.
It's strange that the text doesn't say anything about this.
It can be either one. Let me bring up my, I'll bring up my dictionary here just to, okay. Benedico. Yeah. All right. So let me throw this up here. New share. We'll do this one. Here we go. Yeah. And you see it. Okay. To speak well of anyone, to commend, to praise. In late and ecclesiastical Latin with the accusative. All right. But it is also, if we follow down here, sometimes with the dative. So more often than not, you should probably see it with the accusative, I would think. I haven't kept count, to be honest with you.
So maybe the text is in error.
No. This is perfectly good. No, this is perfectly good. Well, this is what was in the text.
I know. I'm just saying that if I understand what you just showed us, it could have been in the accusative.
Yes.
It could have been nominum.
It could have been. It could have been. Yes.
And the same with number 13, where
yes,
of numbers, it could have been.
Now I know why they did number 13. We'll get to that. Let's finish this one first.
Okay.
Let's see. Because of Christ, on account of Christ's victory. Salve, Allison. Because of Christ's victory, propter, on account of, because the apostles were full of joy, and let's see,
and still with joy, kind of a clumsy sentence, but and still with joy, the people always bless the Lord. But as it's noted in the dictionary, it can be either way. Generally, in fact, let me pop that back up for that matter. Whoops, where is it here? Okay, come on, new share. There we go. It doesn't speak well. It doesn't fit to say speak well of.
Yeah, sometimes with the dative. Well, no, what I'm saying is well, yeah, it does, to speak well. Benedico. There's a.
I know, but I'm saying that you wouldn't say to speak well of the Lord.
Oh, no. If used ecclesiastically, notice in it late and ecclesiastical Latin, to bless, to praise. Okay.
And it says with accusative.
Yeah, and well, it does say, where'd it go? Rarely with the dative. Benedict Domino in the Vulgate. It is in there. Okay.
That's why I'm saying that I think the book is in error.
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's okay. So they're rarely using it.
Yeah. If you look at the canticle of the 3 children from Daniel, it uses this construction a lot. I'll try and send you a URL to it. So I wouldn't say it's okay. It may be rarely, but it's not as rarely. It's not as rarely as you might think, or it's not as rarely as you seem to be implying. Maybe that's better. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you. Okay, but no, I'm fine with the way it is. Here. And if we get time, I'll try and bring up the canticle of the 3 young men in the furnace. Where were we? Okay. Animabus justorum semper benedicimus. Yes, do we always bless the souls of the just? And this is where I believe this was covered in the set yeah, this was covered in the unit. Anima, the dative form would be animis. Okay. Well, the problem with animis, that's also the dative form of animus. Anima is soul, spirit. Really, soul is let's say soul. Let's keep it to that. And animus is mind. And so in order to distinguish those words that have a masculine and feminine form with different meaning, it is perfectly appropriate to say abus instead of is. Now, we will find later on that the third declension nouns use ibus in the dative and accusative, the dative and the ablative plural. So this is just kind of stealing a third declension ending, sticking it on a first declension noun, just strictly for the purposes of distinguishing the two. And that is mentioned in Unit 7. So I'm sure that's the reason they stuck that in there, and probably the only reason. Okay. Una cum populo diaconus dignus ad Deum orat. Together with the people, the worthy deacon prays to God. Yeah, okay. One way of putting it. Or the worthy deacon prays to God, one with the people, together with the people, permutations on that. Carus, Jesu apostolus Mariam in cenaculum inducit. Ooh, nice. Yes. The apostle, dear Carus, to Jesus, dative. The apostle, dear to Jesus, led, inducit, or led into, more accurately, Mary into the upper room, or the cenaculum. The cenaculum literally means supper room, but we generally don't. Excuse me. Cena is dinner, so cenaculum would be the dinner room, or the dining room, might be a better way of saying it. But we don't call where the Mass of the Last Supper was held as the dining room. It would be accurate, of course. And dining rooms often in those buildings back then were in the upper room. So we always refer to that as the upper room. In this case. Et digni et indigni ad Deo conservantur. Both the worthy and the unworthy are kept by God. Yes. Which is very fortunate for all of us. All right. Una ancilla ad Jesum in domo venit et benedicitur. I'll do this part. One handmaiden.
But it could
or
be
maidservant. Yeah.
It could be A. It could be the article A.
No.
Why not?
Latin doesn't have a and an and the.
It says so in the text, though.
Does it say a, really?
Yes, it says A and an.
Okay. Well, all right. I don't like that.
Maybe the text is wrong.
You're just looking for something wrong in
I'm
the
just
text.
looking for something to get you to admit that the text is sometimes wrong.
All right. I'm not going to say, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's say I don't like that interpretation. How does that sound?
Okay.
I will admit that one handmade here will but by the way, now in my defense, that is the translation they gave in the teacher's manual. So see, one handmade or one maidservant. Yeah, I mean, we typically don't, this is where you get into this is where you get into what did I say? A certain element of taste. The reason I don't like that as the indefinite article is because Latin does not have an indefinite article. That's, flat out the case. There's no A's, ands, these. They have something else if they want to say a particular handmaiden or a particular book or a particular book that we don't know. I mean, there's a long series of these, and I don't want to get into it now. So they would tend to use something different. Now, okay, can it mean a handmaid? Yes, because a handmaid means one handmaiden or maidservant. Okay. So yes, you can stick an A in there, but that's only because of what English demands. The Latin really doesn't demand that, because we don't say one handmaiden came in. We just say a handmaiden came in, a undefined handmaiden. Meaning when we say a book, a handmaid, we just mean a general one. We're not being specific,
Yeah, that's why I said A.
Yeah. So in that sense, yes, you can put an A in there and be the equivalent, but it's not really the indefinite article. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so I don't like him doing that, only because I'm going to have more to explain later on when we hit the real, what do I want to call them? They're not indefinite. I don't remember what the grammatical term for them is. I'll have to, when we get to that unit, I'll look it up. Mania, Laetitia, Salmi, Adiscipulis, cantantur. With great joy, the songs are sung by the disciples. Yes. Or psalms are sung by the disciples with great joy. Your choice. Propter filium Dei nostra natura a peccato liberatur. Any takers?
Because the Son of God, oh, I think I missed something here. Because the Son of God, our nature is freed from sin.
Or on account of the Son of God.
Yeah, on account of the Son of God.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. I tend, you're going to see me use on account of. I'll tell you why I like it on account of. It's purely a pedantic reason. Okay. Propter literally means on account of. Okay. You go to the dictionary and that's probably the first thing you say. And then it'll say because. Well, because can either be because can also work as a conjunction for a clause, and Latin has a different set of those words for clauses. And so you know, when we're going to get to those quia, quid, and quoniam, if we ever make it to unit 8. So I tend to make that on account of. And I'm pretty sure that's actually what was in the teacher's manual. I generally don't fiddle with that stuff. So either one, but because the Son of God, well, okay. Our nature is freed from sin because of the Son of God, or choose your word order. In nostris animis dominus regnat, nam delet nostra vitia et culpas.
Okay, so here's the problem with the book.
Oh,
What's the problem here? See if you can figure out where has the book made a mistake. It should be obvious. Go back to number 13. That gives you a hint.
number 13 was the.
Go back to number 13.
All right.
Aha, is there a word in there that should have been here?
Oh,
The book made a mistake.
I'm still not seeing it.
It should be animabus.
No,
Yes, it should. If we're talking about souls, we're not talking about
no,
minds.
no. Go back to 13. I said you can use it that way.
But the book is more insistent than that. They say you should.
Well, then on that basis, you're right. The book is not self-consistent.
We're not talking about minds here. We're talking about souls.
Quick thing, in your English translation, you spelled destroys wrong.
Whoa, these stories. Thank you.
Well, maybe I'm being too particular.
Well, yeah, okay. All right.
They
All right,
keep
here we
making
go.
that-
Let's do this.
You make
Okay.
that distinction all the time about minds and souls. And you
Yeah,
did
okay.
when we were
All
talking
right.
about
Let's do
13.
this. If he says always, and you have the better of me, I haven't, I don't have.
Doesn't say always, but I'm saying that we've been making that distinction for some time.
Yeah. Let me point out that if you go to the dictionary and you look up the declension, you do see animis and animis, okay? So you have the option of using either.
But you should.
You
you
probably, yeah, I would agree with you. If you want to be a little more precise, then you would normally use animabus. Just for the heck of it, let's go to animus. And animus, oh boy, comes to breathe. Oh boy, we don't want to read all that, don't we? Okay, mind as thinking, feeling, the intellect, sensibility, and the will. That's the one I want to highlight. Generally power of perception, but again, if you go over here to the declension, you see that, yeah, it's an animis. So
well, the thing that's bad about this is that they intentionally get into that. So if they're going to give an example while they make the specific point that you really should use animabus to avoid the confusion, if they're going to do that, then they should use it properly in the exercises.
actually, that's a fair comment. I will agree with you there. Hopefully the world won't end since I said I agree with you.
Nobody else heard you say that. It doesn't matter.
Okay, it's just among us. That way it won't, propagate all the way through the universe and rip up the space-time continuum. Yeah, you're right. It probably would be better. Oh, well,
Michael, I have another question on that sentence.
sure.
I don't know why this jumped out at me. It's probably nothing, but it's, if you want to say destroys our, it says destroys our vices and faults.
Yes.
If I wanted to be more clear, destroys our vices and our faults, would that be nostra vitia et nostra culpas? Or
Yes.
would there be a different form?
Nope, you would have to put in a nostras right there. Whoops.
Nostras.
With one O. Let me get the one O there.
Nustra.
Yeah, nostras. Yeah, yes, you would. It is unneeded. And by the way, this is actually a good and by the way, okay, a perfectly legit translation here is, for he destroys our vices and our faults. In Latin, if you stick it, when you have a word like this, we have two different words and they are different genders, that they're in the same case. They have to be in the same case, of course, because otherwise they wouldn't be related. Then you pick the gender of the one that you are in front of, and it is implied that they both, that the nostra applies to both of those two. But yes, you could put a nostras in front of the culpas if you wanted to.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that would not be incorrect to put it in there. And similar in English, if I just said he destroys our vices and faults, then the the possessive would be implied across both of those. So, you know, you wouldn't interpret that as our vices and somebody else's faults.
Like I said, I don't know why that jumped out at me, but for some reason
Yep.
it was a question that was in my
No,
head.
that's actually, no, it's a valid question. You know, which one do you pick? Because here's plural neuter and here's plural feminine. So which one do I use? And the answer is with the first one. So no, it was a very good question. A familia puer Jesus cum magistris in templo invenitur. Okay. I wouldn't put it in that order, but that's okay. The boy Jesus is found by his family. I mean, who else's family would it be? With the teachers in the temple. And in fact, it sounds a little weird in English. The boy Jesus is found by family. Well, I guess you could say that. Yeah, I guess we say that. Even in English, the his family, yeah, is implied. So, liber a primo diacono recipitur. Yes, the book is taken back by the first deacon. I'm not sure which book they're talking about, but evidently it was the first deacon that took it. In primis famulus in domum ducitur, ibi dicunt famulo aquam capere. At first, the family is led to home, to house.
Family or servant?
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, either. Yeah, he probably used servant. Yeah. At first, the servant is led into the house. There, they say to tell the servant to take the water. Yeah, famulus is oh, sorry, if it's famulus, never mind, it's servant. Familia is family. Having a brain fart. Yeah, got to be servant. Both the famulus just generally mean, and famula generally means a household member, and it generally refers to the servants or the slaves, really. Slaves are, not politically correct these days. The word is not politically correct these days, so they generally use servant. Although even in the liturgy, they will refer to us we thy servants, whatever. So, but it comes from the notion that the group dwelling in a household is not just the nuclear family. Certainly back then was not just the nuclear family, but that included the servants and everybody else. And why that is relevant is if you remember Cornelius, who is a Roman, had Jesus, no, I'm sorry, Peter, excuse me, Peter come to his house. And he asked for baptism, and his entire household was baptized. So that would have been him. We don't know if he was married. We don't know if he's had children, but that would have been everybody, himself, his blood relations, as we would call them, and his servants. And I like to point out to certain Protestant groups that notice it doesn't say that except for his children or except for the infants or anything like that. And there certainly would have been some infants in a large household by that, or certainly underage children that some Protestants would not consider eligible for baptism. It's not the strongest one for arguing for baptism of infants, but it is one of them. Okay, where are we here? Yeah.
Just a quick question. Would Ancilla have a superior position in the household to someone who is a famulus?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. You would think of the Ancilla as a personal servant. So, oh shoot, what's has anybody read Lord Peter Wimsey? What was Bunter's? Well, actually, yeah, Bunter was called a manservant, which means he was the personal servant of the master and attended to the master, directly. So it was I don't know if it would be higher exactly, but it would certainly be a more intimate relation to the master of the house.
It just seems that the famulus is a bit more generic.
Yes.
Where handmaid is a bit more specific.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A famulus or famula could be the scullery maid. So, and I'm pretty sure scullery maids rank down pretty low on the, on the servant totem pole. Whoops, I think we got them all. Yeah, we got them all. Et tu cum hoc Nazareno Jesu eras. Too bad we didn't have that during Holy Week. Yes. And you were with this Nazarene Jesus. Yes. Hold on, let me get that right. Okay, now I want you all to turn on your microphone and say what this means in English at the same time. All together.
Count us down?
All together. 1, 2, 3.
I believe
Believe in God. the
Yes.
Father.
Oh, very good. Yeah. It's synchronizing anything over.
We ought to be able to sing it. Credo in unum Deum.
Yeah. And by the way, this is why, another reason why I don't like translating una as a. Una is the feminine form. Unus is the masculine form, and unum is the neuter form. But since this takes the accusative, it's unum, unus, unum, like Deus, unum, unus Deus, unum Deum. I would not want to see that translate as I believe in a God. Okay. No, you would not say it that way. And this really does mean I believe in one single God, period. So, yeah, I'm going yeah, but it's in 3 persons, so it's not Jehovah's Witnesses. There is, the a God, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they would say, in fact, that's what they have done is if you look at the Jehovah's Witnesses Bible, they slip some A's in, especially in the last gospel that's read at Mass. You know, in the beginning was the Word, etc. They translate that very differently than everybody else. The Greek, which is the original, simply does not admit to their translation. But again, trying to convince them of that is, you know, good luck.
One of the things when I was teaching class at my church, whether it was adults or children, you know, teenagers, I always taught them how to find, you know, check their Bibles and make sure it was a Catholic translation. And this is one of the things that I warned them about. If you pick up any Bible and you get a Jehovah's Witness Bible on it, you're going to get that, you know, Jesus was a God thing,
Yep.
and, you know, and stuff. So, yeah. I always told them how to find the imprimatur and the Neolobstat and everything else, and check the, you know, the books in the Old Testament.
Oh yeah, very much so. Check to see how many books are in the Bible. If there's 73, they're probably okay.
Can I share a real quick story?
Sure.
This is years and years ago. I wanted to join a Bible study, and there was only one that I could find and get to, and it was at work during lunch hour, and it was led by a very nice Black man who was like the pastor at some church. I guess he was building his own church or something. And so some of the people that were in there were his students.
Mm-hmm.
And I warned him, I'm Catholic, I'm going to have questions because this is in the beginning of my spiritual journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we go through, and after 3 weeks, he called me a blessing, and that's like, you know, bless your heart kind of thing. And because I kept bringing up all these Catholic questions to him. And so I brought my Catholic Bible in so I could do the Bible study. Well, one of his students saw my Bible, asked to look at it. He starts flipping through it. He started following me after class, telling me I was going to hell because I had extra scripture that was going to lead me astray. Yeah. And I put up with him for like 3 or 4 weeks. And one day he actually followed me into my office and was warning me about the Bible. And I finally turned to him and said, well, the Catholic Bible came before your Bible, so it may not be that I have extra scripture, but you're missing some. And he turned around and left, and I never heard another word.
Yeah. I've run into that. I pointed out to them that the reason some of those books were dropped by Martin Luther is because he didn't like them.
Yes.
So
good for you, Teresa.
Anyway, but yes, very much so. Okay. Liturgia verbi nunc agitur. Yes, is the liturgy of the word now being conducted? Yeah, conducted is about the best we can do in English. I have a couple of alternate translations going on now. Ago is that wonderful, ago is that wonderful little all-purpose Latin word that means to drive, to set in motion. So when we say gratias tibi ago, it literally means I set in motion grace to thee, which, you know, sounds weird in English, or thanks. Yeah, thanks. Gratia means pleasant things, basically. And when we use it in ecclesiastical sense, we invariably mean grace. So a couple of different ways to do that. All right. Oh, now we got to do the other way. Ooh, this one's a little more interesting.
Michael, just
Sure.
one quick question. Given the gratias agimus, giving thanks.
Yeah.
Do you think given would be wrong to say, is the liturgy of the word now being given or now being given now? I mean, it's not far off, the word given.
No, I think that's a possibility, because what we mean by that is, is it going on?
Yeah.
So is the play being given now? So yeah, I would say that's a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not performed.
Yeah.
So that's why you wouldn't use that with play, but liturgy of the word is not a performance.
Yeah, no, I know that, but going on now is a Not super literal, but not a bad translation of the idea.
Okay.
Okay. Translate into Latin. Actually, let me check something. I want to see what's next. Oh, okay. Translate into Latin. The good people are being led into the church by the deacon. There the canticles of the Lord are joyfully sung. I don't know if we've ever been led into the church by the deacon at Annunciation. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. We have processed into the church, but generally it was usually, well, okay, sometimes the deacons were in front. Okay, I'll buy that. Anyway. Any takers? People, populus. Good people, populus bonus, are being led, ducantur. No takers?
I'm typing.
Typing? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that's a long one. Some of these are a bit long, but again, he wants to, in part, show that we're past the C spot run stage. Let's see. Populus bonus, I mean, ecclesiam, a diacono novo? That into the church. Okay, I'm not sure where the novo is in there. Inducitur, I'll go along with that. Ibi cantica domini cum laetitia cantantur. Yeah, I'll go with that. Not sure why there's a novo in there.
New deacon.
Yeah, but there's no new deacon. I don't see a new in there.
Oh. Let me check the book.
That's all right. Bonus Ducci. Where's the?
Oh, in the book, it does have new deacon.
Oh, really?
There's a new deacon in the book.
Okay. Well, then that's. Darn it! That's another error in the book. No. All right. Hold on. Did I? Now, generally, I try and OCR these things. New deacon. All right. Okay, diacono. I'm going to put the novo after just because Latin tends to put adjectives after. Not always, but tends to. Okay.
Could I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
I know that inducitur is correct, but it just seems strange to have the singular inducitur following the good people are. It just seems strange to me. It would almost seem to be inducunt.
Okay. Yeah.
You
Keep
follow
in
what I'm saying?
mind.
I mean, if you're using the plural are, then it would seem that you should say inducunt.
Well,
Sure.
not in Latin.
I'm saying I agree that it should be inducitur. It's just that there's something
I
wrong
know.
with using the plural are.
Yeah, I know. Sounds a little weird in English, but populus is a second declension noun singular. So,
But I mean, you don't think it should be populi?
no. No, populi would be the peoples.
I understand.
So,
But-
yeah, and populi is, oh boy, that would be like,
I don't disagree that it's populus. It's just it just seems
populi terre, the people of the lands. It would mean multiple clans. I'm trying to think what a better word is.
Ethnicities.
Yeah, yeah. Well, multiple ethnic groups. There we go. The peoples. And yeah, in English we say "we the people." Constitution there. Or I'm sorry, no, that was the Declaration of Independence. No, sorry, Constitution. I had it right the first time.
Okay, it's just peculiar, that's all.
Yeah, in English it is. Yeah, we definitely make people plural. There is no. Well, we can say one people. The country is all one people, but it's still plural. There's no way for us to make a singular people. Whereas in Latin, populus is, yes, it is a collection of human beings, but it is one collection. So yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, today the eternal victory of Christ is being well celebrated by his people. Hodie victoria aeterna Christi a popolo bene celebratur. Hodie aeterna victoria. Okay, I think that will be pretty close to what's in here. Hodie aeterna victoria Christi a popolo bene celebratur. Yes. All right. This is the many gifts of the assembly are being received by the beloved minister. Yeah, okay. He's cheating a little bit on this one, I think. Yeah, actually, I can see what this, yeah, that's what I thought. Any takers? There we go. Multa dona ecclesiae accipi untur a ministro caro. I believe you have it there, Adam. Pardon me if you hear other noises. I'm eating my dinner. We had
Another ablative of personal agency.
Are you shocked?
No, I was
No.
commenting on that earlier, that I thought if you did a survey, you would probably see more of that category of ablative than any of the others.
Oh yeah, in this lesson, definitely. Yeah, because that was a big one of the whole unit. The Lord of power and justice is rightly praised by all nature. Merito Dominus potentiae et justitiae natura universa laudantur. Both of you have the same thing. You didn't like copy from one another, did you? Yeah, no, just kidding. Dominus potentiae, the Lord of power, et justitiae, and justice, merito, laudantur universa natura. It's
Michael?
not the ablative. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's not the ablative of personal.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So you don't have the A here because it's not a person.
It's not really a person. It's all nature is kind of abstract.
Right. But what I'm saying, this is one of those rare examples that they use where the ablative of agency, or whatever you want to call it, means you omit the because it's not a person.
Correct. The man is not sad, but full of joy, for the sick in Judea are being healed by the blessed apostles. have to remember what they did here. Oh, okay, good. Excuse me. I'll do the first word, vir. Yes, vir non maestus est, said. Said plenus gaudio, very good, full of joy. Nam infirmi, okay. In Judea, sorry, Judea, yeah, Judea, I got it right. Yep. Sanator, yes. Apostolis. Oh, they've got Benedictus. Oh, by the blessed apostles, yeah. And notice the here is turned into an up because it comes before another vowel.
That's, I think, the first time we've used ob in these exercises.
Yeah, you will see it. If can be used, it will invariably be used. Okay. You can use op or ops, but I just don't recall ever it being used before a consonant. 2,000 years of Latin writing, it's probably a little dangerous to say never, never say never. But I just don't recall ever seeing it. All right. So what do we got left here? Let's see. I talked about the Regina Coeli. Oh, yeah, the Regina Coeli. I do have, let's see where it is. I have a bunch of stuff on my website for Easter. Go check it out. For those of you that did not see the short Easter video in Latin, take out your notes and click on that YouTube link. The PDFs have hot links or live links or whatever you want to call it. It is in Latin. It is in ecclesiastical Latin. There is a storybook that goes along with it. There are words you probably, well, I know there are words you have never had, but on the other hand, you kind of know what's going on in the whole Easter thing, I would hope. So it should make sense. We did see this video, by the way, 2 weeks ago when most people couldn't make it. And so I don't know, we only got 12 minutes left. I'm inclined to say let's stop there and just tackle Unit 8 next week. Are there any dissenting votes? Like someone is just dying to attack Unit 8 this week, and it would ruin their life if we didn't do it. I mean, far be it from me to cause anybody an existential crisis. But don't all shout out at once. Okay. I'll give you a hint. My psychic powers told me that what the answer was going to be. All right. Yeah, I will send out links to the Minecraft videos. They are in classical Latin, but I think they're really neat to look at. I may throw this one in. I'm going to put it in an email, but it's really good to watch these because the book has a certain teaching method and texts and stuff. And so it's nice to, look at other things. And these videos are rather fun, really. I mean, you're learning, of course, but they're fun. So I will try to
Michael,
get those out. Yes.
you had mentioned earlier something about a YouTube Minecraft video. I mean, do
Yeah.
you have a site for that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Here, I'll tell you what. We got a few minutes. Whoa, I just zoomed my window too big here. Hold on, just scooch that down. All right, here we go. Okay, let me go ahead and do this. All right, there it is. Okay. I will bring that up.
Salvete.
Whoops, hold on.
Egosum magistra.
I hate the fact, I wish I could delete autoplay from the universe. Okay, here, let me share this here. Just give me a second. I need to find, here it is. Okay, this is in my browser. I said share. There we go. You can see this now, right?
Yeah.
All right, now this one I played last time. I'll go ahead and start it.
Hurt. Mihi nomen es magistra hurt. Quides.
Whoop, God, just what I needed.
Quides.
Quides.
Casa.
What is it? Casa. House.
Casa. 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 Haekes. Casa. Casa. Quides hic. Quides hic. Ager.
Field,
Ager.
which we've already had. Ager.
Ager. Casa.
Yep.
Casa.
Okay. I'm not going to go any
Ager.
farther than that. I'm going to go back
Ager.
to the original here and say there. Anyway, I will send out the URLs for that, Alex. Whoop.
Okay.
Did you guys disappear? Oh, no. Okay. Looked like you guys had disappeared for a second. I will send out the URLs for that. Notice she said magister. Okay, we say magister. So she's doing classical. I have some more that are ecclesiastical. For the purposes of the simple sentences and stuff, I think the video is way more useful than the minor annoyance. She will say waka instead of vaca for cow. What is the Argentinian cowboys? Vaqueros.
You're right.
Yeah, so that's where that comes from. So anyway.
Cabeza de vaca.
Yes. So anyway, read, this is like all I do is change that number every time. Do, read, review, study, memorize, really get those verb forms down. Next time we're going to hit Unit 8, which is the imperfect forms, which is kind of a form of the past tense. And we're going to do both active and passive. So we're going to cram a whole lot of stuff into that chapter. Now, the reason they can do that is because you already know the present forms and you know the passive forms, and the imperfect form is perfectly regular. You basically add a ba in the word and it's suddenly the imperfect form. So it's really easy to do if you already know, the others. It's probably one of the easiest tenses to learn once you've got the present active and the present passive. Yeah, I will. Yeah. If you got it, Adam. In the meantime, but before we do that, let's go ahead and do our closing prayer. And let's see here. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum. Adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. And with that, I shall say good night to those of you.
There's the URL. It's in the chat.
Thank you. I will end the recording and say